Hi Miniya, nice meeting
Hello.
you.
Nice to meet you too.
Sorry for the delay. It's been crazy here,
It's been
but
busy.
but
Yes.
it's a very nice event. It
It
has
is.
got so many exciting ideas buzzing and so many established ventures like yours. So with that said, why don't you tell us something about Sustain Labs?
Yeah, sure. So, Stain Labs, we build ventures which are focused on sustainability and climate. So, we have our own carbon capture company which works on industrial carbon capture. We build universities with degrees which are focusing on sustainability and climate. Jadix Impact as well. We are partners with Dubai World Trade Center to create Jadix Impact. So we build these kind of institutions and companies whose main task and objective is looking at sustainable growth. The second thing that we do is we work on organizational transformation. So we work with large organizations where we work on their strategy and converting their products, for example, or their operations, their supply chain into becoming sustainable. We work with some of the largest companies in the world. So in UAE, for example, we work with ADNOC. We've worked with very large companies around the world. And then the third thing that we do is technical research. So these are deep research projects focusing on sustainable climate. So to give you an example, we worked with Pepsi globally last year, where we looked at their life cycle assessment of their carbon footprint, and so then which helps them then understand the environmental footprint of their refrigerators. We worked on one of their products and gave them some recommendations on how to make that lesser.
Appears to be an interesting mix of things, but management consulting, if I might say, sustainability ventures, the organizational transformation bit, I'm putting it under management consulting, research. So,
Yeah.
what's your background, if I may ask, before you
Yeah.
started all of these?
So I was in banking.
Ah.
Well, my first 3 years was in policy, government, which really helps me because there's a lot of the work that we do has government partnerships. It's a large-scale projects. You need to work with governments as stakeholders. So I was the policy analyst to Jacques Chirac as my first job in France. So, and then I moved into banking. So I was with Goldman Sachs in their London office. And then I was managing hedge funds, so funds of hedge funds in Paris. And then at 28, I quit banking. That was the year I gave my PhD. So I was also writing my PhD thesis. And at 28, I gave the week that I gave in my PhD dissertation and the viva and everything. And that week I quit because I just wanted to move towards things which are more meaningful and more useful for me and for others. I started an NGO because I didn't know better at that time. I was like, the only way to create impact is by starting an NGO. But thankfully, I have mentors. I've always been very, very lucky to have amazing people guide me. So one of my mentors told me that the right place for me would be the World Economic Forum. So I joined the World Economic Forum. I was there. I was managing a region, so I was managing young global leaders across Middle East, North Africa, and South Asia. And I did that for a few years and saw lots and lots of very interesting models of what I'm doing now. I think I learned a lot by just seeing others, very senior people, do that and how they create impact through a business. And that was the very early days of sustainability. And talking 15 years ago. So India, I wanted to come back to India. It had been 14 years. I hadn't come back to the country which my nationality is. I've always lived in Europe and a bit in US. So I came back to India as Chief Sustainability Officer of Jindal Steel and Power. It's a business conglomerate in steel power infrastructure. It was wonderful because it was really a deep dive into the deepest end of sustainability. It's steel and power. They had 80 different companies that I could work with. And that's where it occurred to me. It was still very early days of sustainability. I was the second CSO in India. The first was the Tata Group, and the second, was me. But it occurred to me that this is something which needs to mainstream. This needs to be scaled up. So I took a sabbatical from the company to create Sustain Labs Paris, and then brought the company in as my first client, so didn't let go. And where we started working with so many companies. Now we work with over 200 companies just in India itself, and Middle East a lot more as well. Asia Pacific, we have an office, and then we've done some work in North Africa.
Wonderful. Great, great. Very, very accomplished background and credentials that you
Right.
have.
Thank you.
Pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.
But before we sign off, what's in the future? What's happening
Yeah.
ahead? What's coming up?
I think what's really exciting is the venture building, because that's just things we are building which will outlast us and immense impact. So we're going to be focusing more on venture building. What we're really enjoying is building new climate schools. So climate focused universities, we call them climate schools. So we would be looking out for partners to partner with universities and institutions to fund them, and then run, and we can help, of course, run those climate schools as well. We are also very excited about our carbon capture company, because there are industries with hard to abate emissions. What do you do? I mean, it takes time to transition as well. So we really feel that carbon capture is an excellent way for the transition economy to also stay clean. So anybody interested in carbon capture can come speak with us as well.
It's wonderful. Thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.